ARK Survival Ascended is finally here, and it comes with a $40 price tag. But if you are willing to fork over the $40 price tag, you are given for free the Studio Wildcard experience. And that in itself is a game in itself. What I mean by that, if you're new to ARK and ARK Survival Ascended is the first game you're playing from Studio Wildcard, then you may not be well aware of the issues that ARK Survival Evolved had when it dropped. It was a mess. It was fun. It was a one-of-a-kind game, so a lot of people just powered through it, me being one of them, and I had a lot of fun. Thousands of hours of playtime and enjoyment. But along with every new update, DLC, the delays, the constant delays, the server issues, game performance, the meshing, a lot of issues that just could not be addressed, really brought the game down. Now, I will say, I feel like their Atlas release was probably one of the worst releases ever. Now, I understand it. When you're going to release a game of these sizes, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to play it. And when you have that player base behind it, there's going to be issues. We can all understand that and be sympathetic to that. But when you're going to remaster a game and then charge $40 for it, you got to wonder, where did all the work go? ARK Survival Ascended is created with Unreal Engine 5. They didn't even make their own engine. So in reality, the game does look beautiful, but that beauty really lies in the engine, which is Unreal 5. So am I paying $40 for an upgraded visual experience? Well, you can throw in the character models have been changed slightly. Not dramatically, but they're better, and the animations are better. The customizations, they could add a little bit more, I guess, and maybe they will in the future. Who knows? At the end of the day, character customization doesn't really matter to me. I just want the character to kind of look like they belong in the world. So compared to ARK Survival Evolved, the character does look like it belongs in the world a bit more than they did on ARK Survival Evolved. Okay, so we got a pretty new rendition of the island thanks to Unreal Engine. Dinos are still derpy. Maybe more derpy than they were in ARK. I'm not seeing a lot of these pathing changes that they say. Maybe when they're idle, sure, but for me, I've seen dinos stuck in rocks, and okay, fine. Maybe I'm nitpicking. They're like, well, it just came out. It's in early access. Yeah. How many games that get remastered come out in early access? Just take a minute to think about that. Has it sunk in? So it's kind of a weird thing to do. Now, I do understand that, Studio Wildcard is a bit, they're kind of on a time crunch to get this game out there, and it's probably not properly polished because if they don't get it out before the end of October, well, there's financial stipulations that are going to come into play, and I don't think they really want to deal with that. If you want more information about stuff like that, I really suggest checking out Nooblit's channel. He's covered it from point A to point B, and honestly, he says it better than I could, so I'd swing on over to his channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description if you're interested in watching those videos related to ASA. But to be quite honest, the price tag to me, personally, as someone who loves ARK, it doesn't bother me. But I do wonder what I'm paying for exactly. Am I paying $40 for the game and all the DLC to come with it, or am I going to have to pay for the DLC? I'm not 100% sure on that. I tried looking it up and doing some research on it, but, things have changed with Wildcard, so I don't really trust them. I know it's more snail games coming into play here with these financial changes, but there was a time and point where we were supposed to get ARK Survival Ascended for free. Now we have to pay $40. So if someone was to tell me right now, oh yeah, if you buy Survival Ascended, you're going to get all the DLCs for free. Well, I'm not getting them for free. I already paid for the game. So technically I'm just getting stuff I paid for. I already paid for it with ARK Survival Evolved, and so far it's just been a reskin experience. So Should I have to pay more for those? If someone told me I didn't have to, I wouldn't really believe it because Studio Wildcard, thanks to Snail Games, has gone back on things they have said in the past. So I'm always a bit skeptical. Of course, server performance lately with ASA has been it's been really bad. I've probably managed to play about a total of 2 hours of actual gameplay for an entire day. I spent most of that day playing Lobby Simulator, which isn't, like I said, a game within itself. So, a messy release, and I expected it. I'm not sitting here trying to rant or say anything like, I can't believe this. Because, I mean, I knew this was going to happen. It's Studio Wildcard. Most of us did, okay? Most of us expected the game to get delayed, but they really are on that time crunch. They couldn't let that happen. So we are given a game where we basically become the test dummies and we work for them. So then there comes the questioning again to you personally, as the one listening to this, is it worth $40? Because you're technically doing their job for them. This is something that kind of frustrates me because back in the day, you would have game testers who would spend hours, hundreds of hours on a game doing the same repetitive tasks over and over, missions, whatever it may be, to test for bugs, exploits, stuff like that in games. But nowadays, companies have the ability to release games in early access and basically say, hey, we're going to offer this game at a cheaper price. It's in early access, report bugs, we'll fix them. Thanks for the help. But you're wanting us to pay $40 for a game where bugs that existed in the previous game came along with this one. How does that happen? How is that even a possibility? If you want us to test your game and help you, fix it out, maybe do a Founders Edition for early access. 10, 15, 20 bucks. Not a big deal. We report bugs and stuff like that. And then after you get to a certain stage in early access or full release, change the price of the game like you did in the past. I'm a little confused about the whole financial situation of why they went down this road. If you do end up watching Noobless videos or doing any research yourself into it, the CEO of Snail Games, he is a very interesting fellow who kind of seems like he needs the money more than he cares about the player base. So that's why I'm making this video today. If you're watching this video and you've been around, you know me, how I feel about Funcom, how I feel about Tencent. This is the problem with gaming in this day and age. I can easily look past issues like, maybe server stability, lag, and stuff like that. It's a big game. Tons of people are trying to play it. Servers are full. You should have released more servers, though. Let's just be honest. You should have done that. You knew this game. You knew people were going to want to play this game. So you should have probably released some more servers. Just a heads up. Also, not a big fan of Nitrado. I've never been a big fan of most of these gaming rental services because it's like renting an apartment. Okay, if you don't understand, the prices look really good, and it's like, oh wow, I can have a 70-player server for $40. That's pretty good. Nah, that's not bad at all. Yeah, that's because you're renting it. Same if you were to rent an apartment. It's cheaper than a house and stuff like that. Maybe not in today's economy. But you get what I'm saying. So that box that you're renting is shared with other tenants. It's not your own daddy. So you're not going to get the full performance out of it because that is going to be shared with other people on that box. That's what most of these game rental services do. That's how they make money. They make a killing on it, to be honest. And with Nitrado having exclusive rights to ARK, I know their official servers are going to be on more dedicated boxes rather than rental boxes, but they're still going to run multiple services on a box to maximize profitability. That's just how it works. So I think with that, my general frustration comes from the fact that a lot of game developers these days are just trying to cash in. They're not always trying to make the best gaming experience. They're trying to make as much profit as possible. And you could say, hey, what's wrong with that? They're a business. Nothing. And I have no problem supporting Wildcard. I don't like Snail Games being attached to them, but Wildcard got into some legal trouble, so they got bailed out by another Chinese corporation. Same old same, nothing new here under the sun. So when that happens, you can see big changes coming to a game you may love. I know I'm going to play Ark Survival Ascended quite a bit, but I would really like to see them actually care about the player base a little bit more. I mean, there's already like 58,000 people just listed on the community hub. You do the math. 58,000 times $40. Okay. Take off a few thousand for maybe streamers and content creators that got a key, and that's being generous. You do the math. They're making plenty of money off of the game. So I leave it up to you. I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on this. Do you think it's worth $40 for a game that you have played? Do you think that remastered is? If it was actually a remastered game, sure. One of my favorite games of all times is Gears of War. They remastered Gears of War, and I did not mind paying the price tag for it. It was the same game I love, so the nostalgia was there, but it was revamped and tweaked a bit and felt smoother and better than it did when it came out back in 2006, 2007. So I was okay to support it because it was something I loved and there were changes to it and it was remastered. It wasn't an early access game. I believe if you're going to release a game in early access, you should offer lower prices to the public so then they can actually play your game and test it. And as the game slowly over time becomes more polished and balanced and playable, for one, that's a key one. It's great you remastered it. It's great, it looks pretty, but unless I want to go in single player, trying to play on official servers right now is an utter mess. So, maybe work those things out. Then, when you have a more polished game, you can release, the game at a higher cost. Just makes sense. And it's good business. But please, down in the comments below, I love hearing what you guys think about this, your opinions, whether you agree with me, disagree with me. Just share your thoughts on this. I do read my comments. I try to reply to most of them. If I don't, I try to make sure I heart them so people know that I did take the time to read them. So your words do not go lost on me there. I thought I would make my first video because I am excited to create some art content. I'm a little sad at the release, but like I said, I did expect this from Wildcard. Just kind of sucks I can't get the progress I want on my current official server. But, I'll get there eventually. But I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.